Okay, so today, what are we going to be covering? What skills will you need? How to use your networks? Are you going to consider further study? Mistakes to avoid when looking for a job? Where to find jobs at the moment? And we'll briefly have a look at remote working as well. Okay, so look, I suppose times are very, very tough. High unemployment, people losing the jobs, but there still are jobs out there. If you're finding it difficult to get a job at the moment and you're sending out your CV and you're not hearing back or you're applying for jobs, it is easy to take it personally, but it's not down to your CV probably at this stage. It's just the state of the current climate with COVID-19. A lot of employers don't exactly know what they're doing yet. You can see the economy starting to up slowly. Things are still not settled yet. So all you can do at the moment is really be ready. And the next few slides are going to really help you think about how can you be ready. So when you see jobs that you're interested in, you can be ready to apply for them and hopefully get them. Okay, so the first thing I would say is you need to keep yourself informed. So you're watching the news, you're looking at social media career sites, career feeds, news feeds, other career websites that are relevant to you. I know there's quite a lot of people here who are from very, very different degree backgrounds. So obviously what's of interest to you may not be of interest to somebody else. So you need to start following the sites, the social media feeds, the professional associations that are of relevance to you, so you can have an idea of what's going on. There are jobs out there, so you need to keep yourself updated. Again, specific company websites and career websites. LinkedIn, we've done lots of sessions on LinkedIn so far, so I would highly recommend that you all have a LinkedIn profile. You can follow different companies, you can use the jobs button, you get jobs emailed into you every day, so LinkedIn is really, really useful. I suppose you need to do your research, and I would absolutely not advise just sending out lots and lots of applications. It takes time, it's hard work, so you need to know what skills you have to offer. Okay, so before you can apply for anything, you need to think about what can I do, what am I good at, what skills do I have, and where's the evidence for them? And think about the employers that you're applying to. What are they looking for? So every single one of your applications needs to be personalised. Really important, get as much help and advice as you can. So use those, use the career service. We're here to help you. That's our job. Classmates might be able to help you. Previous classmates. LinkedIn has an amazing facility. If you look at the alumni button on the University of Limerick's LinkedIn page, you'll be able to find out where previous graduates from your particular discipline have gone or your particular course have gone. LinkedIn's all about networking. So again, it should be possible to contact people who've progressed before you, just to get some advice and tips even. Previous employers and course directors. If you're doing a very kind of specific course and you think your course director may be able to help you, absolutely email them and see if they can give you a hand. And I suppose the other thing to say is, don't give up straight away. You know, it is unusual to walk into your dream job immediately. It can take years, but things will improve. You will find a job, but sometimes it just takes a bit longer than usual. Okay, so what do you need to do to be ready? First of all, you need to be prepared to do everything online. I'm using Microsoft Teams at the moment to speak to you. So we're using this now, I'd say, for the last 3 months, and it took me at least 6 weeks to get the hang of it. So if you're not familiar with different technologies, applications, Zoom, Teams, Skype, or whatever, make sure you get your head around it and make sure you're comfortable using new technologies. Make sure you're in a quiet place. I've just reminded me, I think my phone's not on silent, but anyway. So make sure your technology skills and your remote working skills are up to scratch. Next thing, update your CV and LinkedIn profile. Your CV needs to be so good. It needs to be professional. It needs to make an instant impact. There's so much advice out there on how to present and prepare a good CV. So use all the help you can get there. Your LinkedIn profile as well. It is a bit like your CV, but it does a million times more things. So again, make the most of LinkedIn, use the job search buttons, follow the companies that you're interested in, and follow alumni, or try and make as many connections you can with alumni from the course that you're in. You need to be familiar with recruitment processes as well. A lot of companies who are hiring at the moment, they're either hiring through video interviews, telephone interviews. A lot of them run psychometric tests. So again, you need to update yourself with, how is the recruitment process going to work for me? We have lots of free psychometric tests that you can practice on. So if you want to contact us at careers@ul.ie, we'd be happy to send you the link for the psychometric tests. We have verbal reasoning, abstract reasoning, situational judgment tests where you get fairly detailed feedback. So if you've never completed a psychometric test before, it's a good idea to do some practice in advance. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you are working at the moment. I know a lot of students still are. All the jobs I'm seeing at the moment are social care jobs, retail jobs, manufacturing jobs, and some remote working jobs. So if you are working at the moment, brilliant. If you're not, and you're currently looking for something, or you've got some free time on your hands, I would absolutely recommend developing your skills. So we're going to talk in a minute about how you can develop your skills further, but make the most of your time. Develop your skills, consider further training. You can do free online courses. Make sure you're using your networks to find out what's happening out there as well, or in your local area. Okay, what skills will you need to find a job? I suppose the first thing is having a degree title is one thing. So you could have a degree in applied languages, you could have a degree in engineering, but what skills do you have? So you need to be so clear about the specific skills that you have and how it will benefit a potential employer. So that involves a little bit of self-reflection and thinking about, okay, what skills do I have? Okay, you might have your languages skills, but what can you do in those languages? Can you sell? Can you do technical writing? What can you do with the skills that you have? And how can you use those skills to benefit an employer? Once you know what skills you have, you need to be able to sell yourself confidently and effectively. So you need to be able to communicate this in your CV. So that's kind of the written communication skills. LinkedIn, online applications, they're your written communication skills. And you also need to be interview ready. So again, if you need a hand with any of these areas, feel free to contact us. We can review your CVs, we can review your LinkedIn profile, we can do mock interviews with you as well until you feel really confident before the real thing comes up. Oh yeah, this is the website I was talking about actually, teamfocus.co.uk/establishment/University of Limerick. Once you use your UL student email and password, you'll be able to access all of the tests free of charge. Okay. Know how to find hidden work opportunities. A lot of the jobs out there, even before COVID-19 and now, they're not necessarily going to be advertised on the big websites. They may not be graduate programs or graduate management training programs. I see jobs all the time on my Facebook profile. I just look at the job section. I live in Tipperary, so I put kind of a circumference of 50 miles around Tipperary. I'm getting jobs in there every day. So consider short-term contracts, use Facebook, use other social media, use your networks. Are there any specific companies that you're interested in? Would it be worthwhile contacting them speculatively in advance of them opening up again? So be creative in how you're looking for jobs. Don't just wait for the advertised jobs. As I said, I just had a phone call there half an hour ago from somebody from a company called Cloud Assist who's looking for somebody with kind of a computer IT background to work with them on a remote basis. So that's what networking's for. Okay, so who do you know in your network that can help you, that can advise you? I think it's important to remember that your network, it's not about giving you a job or getting you a job. Your networks can advise you, can pass you on to somebody else, can keep an eye out for where the jobs might be happening. So if you can use your networks just even to keep their ears open, or maybe to mentor you, or to give you some idea of what might be happening in their sector, that's what your network is for. So who's your network? Everybody has a network. The career service, so we are your network, your family, previous employers. classmates, alumni, lecturers, course directors, professional organisations, even any voluntary groups or sporting groups that you're involved with. You never know who's in those groups who may be able to assist or advise or help you as well. I mentioned earlier, the University of Limerick alumni site has 64,000 members. So that's 64 graduates from the University of Limerick who are using LinkedIn. And because LinkedIn is a professional networking site, the whole purpose of LinkedIn is to network. So I would absolutely be using that. You've also got the Alumni Association as well. I'm not as familiar with that, but you know, it might be helpful. Okay. I do a huge amount of work with psychology students. So if anybody is here from psychology, hi. But think about your specific background or discipline. Say, for example, psychology. All psychology students, if they're doing an accredited psychology degree, should be a member of the PSI, which is the Psychological Society of Ireland. It's €25 a year to become a student member. You get a free e-magazine every month called The Irish Psychologist. It has information about careers, jobs, current trends in the area of psychology. So, and most students, they're not members of the PSI. So again, depending on what your discipline is there a professional organisation that you can join as a student member? Those organisations are there to kind of support their members, to advertise jobs, to run conferences, events, to give you the inside news about what's going on. So whatever you're studying, if you can kind of find an organisation that represents you and your discipline and join as a student member, it will absolutely help you. Okay, just something quickly, I suppose, because we're all online, we're all working online, or we're all working remotely at the moment. Just to be aware of your personal online presence. Most employers, if you send in an application, one of the first things that they're going to do is they're going to look for you online. Hopefully it'll find your LinkedIn profile and it'll look really, really professional, but you never know what might come up. They might find your Facebook page as well, or your Instagram page, or your Twitter feed. And again, you need to be careful what you're putting in your personal social media presences or your personal social media online platforms. If your Facebook profile, you know, if it's a bit toxic or anything racist, inappropriate up there, and somebody looks at that, that may be the difference between you getting an interview or a job or not. So just really be careful about having a look at your online profiles and make sure, that you understand your privacy settings, that you really, really tighten up your privacy settings, especially for your own personal pages. Obviously for LinkedIn, you want as many people as possible to be able to see your LinkedIn profile, but you may not want them seeing your Facebook page. So think about what you share with the world. Think about what you post before you post it. And lastly, think about your email address as well. Some students, some graduates' email addresses, they're using the same kind of personal email from since they were kind of a young teenager. So just, think about your email address. Is it appropriate? Is it professional? And are all your online presences professional? And if not, make sure the privacy settings are really, really tight. Okay. Because of the current climate, I suppose, jobs are quite difficult to find at the moment. So you may be thinking about upskilling, about doing further postgraduate study, further training. So I've got a couple of slides here that might give you some ideas. First one really, I suppose, is doing a postgraduate course. So because we're in the University of Limerick, I have the links for the University of Limerick. So UL has a huge range of courses. It's interesting to know that if you're currently on a grant though, depending on your particular circumstances, you may be eligible for a grant to continue your postgraduate study as well. So Suzy probably is the best website for that. They have an eligibility reckoner. It takes about 10 minutes. You put in your personal details or your individual details, and it will tell you pretty quickly whether they think you'd be eligible for a grant for postgraduate study. So that's really, really good. If you're not eligible for a grant for postgrad study, if you had a look at this link here, the Graduate and Professional Studies website, they have a section on funding for postgrad study. They do offer some scholarships, not very much, mind you, but have a look and see what's there. So if you are eligible for a grant, Susie is the place to go. If you're not eligible for a grant, you're looking at kind of the individual universities. There's a couple of web links there at the bottom, the UK and postgraduate study abroad as well. Prospects is definitely the best website if you're interested studying abroad or in the UK. Okay, this is really interesting because of kind of the crisis. Lots of people, possibly some parents, family members, may have lost jobs or, you know, it'd be in very uncertain circumstances. Postgrad courses are expensive. There are quite a lot of free, short online courses out there at the moment. Have you heard of ecollege.ie? It's the Irish kind of, it used to be called Force, it's now called Solace. This is their kind of training website. All their courses are free at the moment, and they just have some really practical courses in areas like web and graphic design, computer programming, IT professional, databases, data science, all the kind of skills that you'll need in the future. So if you don't have kind of skills in these areas, I would absolutely look at doing some of these courses to add to your CV. I was also looking at LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has some free training courses as well. Digital Defined, I discovered that last week, hundreds of free online courses. Some of them are very short, some of them are taster courses as well. So if you're thinking about going on to do further study, I was talking to somebody last week who was interested in marketing, but wasn't sure if they'd like it or not. On these courses like Digital Defined, Allison, Coursera, you can do a taster course in practically anything before making a big commitment to do a postgraduate course. So I'd absolutely check out some of those courses there as well. Fetchcourses.ie. They're run by the Further Education and Training Boards, and they're offering free courses as well at the moment. So there are free courses out there. There are lots of opportunities to kind of upskill and get some really practical IT office professional design courses on your CV. Okay, so what should you avoid? Number one, really, you need to know what skills and qualities you have to offer. And this is the hardest part, really, because most people think I'll just draw up a CV and fire it off and hopefully I'll get an interview. But if you don't know what skills you have to offer, if you haven't done your research on yourself, on the jobs market, and match the two, you are going to find yourself being unsuccessful, and then you're going to be wondering why. So absolutely knowing what skills you have to offer is critical. What else should you avoid doing? Not using the career service, you know, that's what we're here for. We're here, you know, we can't get you a job, but we can absolutely help you to make the best application, to consider what your skills are, to put you in touch with possible employers maybe, to maybe suggest ideas where you may look for work, to help you prepare for interviews. So absolutely use the career service. We're here, as I said, all during the summer, and we're very happy to meet with you online, or you can send us an email, or you can attend webinars. But please do use the career service. What else should you avoid? Okay, not personalising your applications. Each application that you send, whether it's to a large company or a small company, and for a small company, it's probably even more important to personalise your application. So that means doing your research on the company. If you have a named person, call them by the name in your application. Dear John, dear Anne-Marie, dear Ms., dear Mr. Show them that you've done your research on the company and how you've thought about how your skills will match what they're looking for. Most people don't do that, and the ones who do, you know, stand out from the crowd. Again, maybe think about smaller companies. I know a lot of smaller companies are in trouble at the moment, but again, a lot of the big graduate recruiters are also on graduate programs. So keep your options open, not just the big companies. There might be local companies who could use some of the skills that you have. So keep those as well. I suppose poor presentation and communication skills. As a graduate, your communication skills are expected to be excellent. And again, that includes your written communication skills and your verbal communication skills. So the first impression of you is going to be your CV or your LinkedIn profile or an online application. So they need to be really professional. So spell checked, well presented, excellent grammar, 1 to 2 pages maximum. So it needs to look good and it needs to read well. Okay, where to find jobs. So I'm assuming that most of you are familiar with the Careers Connect website, as well as making appointments for events like this and to see appointments to see careers advisors. We have a vacancy section as well. We've got jobs coming in every day, so absolutely have a look at that. But where else can you have a look? Indeed.ie. I have about 6 Indeed email alerts set up for psychology, for marketing, for languages, for part-time jobs and for summer jobs. And that means in Limerick. And that means every day I'm getting emails from Indeed on jobs that I'm interested in, or the students, a lot of the students that I work with may be interested in. So I'm keeping my eye the whole time on LinkedIn. I'm also looking at jobalert.ie, really good website, similar to LinkedIn. So if you're keeping your eyes on these and you're kind of setting up your email alerts, you can just see, you get an idea of what's happening out there, what kind of jobs are more popular at the moment. As you can, probably know, it's healthcare assistants, retail, delivery drivers, manufacturing, warehouses, things like that. They're kind of where the main jobs are at the moment. But as the economy opens up, things will improve again. Just some other ones here as well. So for teaching, you've got the education and training boards. LinkedIn has an excellent job search facility. For anybody who's interested in the not-for-profit sector, the Active Link website is absolutely brilliant. They have loads of jobs all over the country, especially in areas like project support workers, family resource workers, community development, youth work, etc. And then you have the IT jobs, careersnews.ie and Tech Life Ireland, I think, are pretty good. They're just some of the ones that I follow. You may know of other websites that are very niche and that other people aren't familiar with, but try to start finding websites that are advertising jobs in the area that you're interested in. Okay, this is I think this is where it's all at. Even before the lockdown in March, we had a spring fair and we invited a company called Grow Remote to come in and participate in the spring fair to talk about remote working opportunities. I suppose we didn't expect it would be happening as soon as it did, but remote working it's here to stay, absolutely. And there are lots of job opportunities out there. If you have a look at this graphic here, you'll see the top 5 industry sectors where all the remote jobs are. So I think the main thing is, customer services. A few weeks ago, eBay were looking for customer service support all over Ireland. Amazon were looking for people. There are lots of customer service jobs on growremote.ie at the moment as well. So customer services is huge. Administration. So again, anybody who has any good administration skills, there are lots of jobs in those areas. Computing and IT, massive. Marketing and advertising, big. Financial services as well. So you can see there are a huge amount of areas where it's possible to work remotely. So the websites that I'm recommending here are growremote.ie. Follow them on Facebook as well. As I was saying earlier, Sean Brady from Grow Remote will be presenting a live webinar with myself on Thursday, the 2nd of July. So keep your eyes open for that. He'll be talking about what is remote working, what kind of skills are needed and where the jobs are. Here's a link to the job actually that he just sent me a while ago. His company, they're called Cloud Assist. They're looking for a secure remote specialist, 15 to 20 hours a week. And that's the website. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, if you have a look at cloudassist.co/jobs, so secure remote specialist, that'll tell you more about that. Another Irish website is called Abodu. They're an Irish site. I think they're based down in Kerry or West Cork. They're really good, where you register your skills with them and they match you with different employers as well. So really interesting site. So there's lots of interest in remote work in Ireland at the moment. So if it's an area that you're interested in, I would absolutely be joining Grow Remote and registering my skills with Abodu. Also, anybody who has languages, so any language skills could be very, very useful for remote working. Okay, so I just had a look earlier. That was a couple of weeks ago, actually. And I was looking again today and I forgot to update it. But even looking at LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, there were nearly 300 jobs in Ireland, remote working jobs. And in Indeed, in Ireland, there were 422 jobs. So again, a lot of them customer service, administration, legal, accounting, bookkeeping, engineering, design, things like that. So lots and lots of remote working opportunities. Some of them are looking for fairly experienced senior people. So don't be too disheartened if you see something. You need to start thinking, okay, if that's a job I would like to be able to apply for, what are the skills I can look at developing now? Okay, to summarize. Know what skills you have to offer. That really is the first thing that you need to do. Know what skills you have to offer and brush up on those that you need to develop. Do your research on the jobs and the companies that you're interested in, wherever you find them, whether it's through LinkedIn, through professional associations, through words of mouth, through the career service. Do your research, find out what they're looking for and think about the skills that you have and do you match their requirements. Familiarise yourself with recruitment and selection processes. Again, will you be interviewed by video? Will you have to do psychometric tests? So you need to be prepared. Make sure your LinkedIn and CV are up to date and make sure you get feedback on them as well. I always say about CVs, it's not rocket science to come up with a good CV, but it's so easy to get it wrong. And if you're sending out a CV that looks bad, that's not targeted, it's a complete waste of time. So do get some feedback. Be interview ready. Okay, so again, there are lots and lots of different types of interviews out there. There are competency-based interviews, strengths-based interviews, video interviews. Try and find out what kind of an interview you'll be going for. And if you want to do some practice on that, we can help you with that as well, because they're very different and you need to prepare differently for different types of interviews. Use your network, use us. If you need help, ask for help, it's out there. And if you need to contact us again, you can contact us through the Careers Connect website and we would be happy to arrange a meeting with you.